All right, everyone. Welcome to the Mangalorian. I hope you're having a good day today. We are hitting volume 12 of the original Dragon Ball manga. Myself and Jordan the Dragon Lee right over here. And Jordan, we've been talking about this, man. The tonal shift has now not completed, but it's near completion as we hit the Demon King Piccolo arc. And in the past few weeks, we've been talking about how you've said that this is your favorite part of the series, and I was curious about what is it about this part of the series that you enjoy so much.
It's the conflict that Goku has to deal with. That's that's really because this is the first time that Goku has to really wrestle with his emotions in a very, very serious way. And I just think that this is like when the story becomes its most intriguing in that way.
Yeah, it's the thing with me is I've never been against the OG Dragon Ball, early Dragon Ball comedy at all, but I actually feel like at this point, when we get to this part of the saga, it does get very, very dark, but it also gets very, very good. And, when I was streaming these episodes, the anime version on Twitch, I really did like it a lot more than I had remembered because Demon King Piccolo really is a fantastic supervillain. Like, he's a villain. He doesn't have any redeemable qualities. He's not like a tortured soul like Vegeta sort of was. He's just straight up just a prick, and he likes killing people, and he likes to, he likes to just he's sadistic. He's very sadistic, and we're gonna get to it here on this stream, this Mangalorian stream. So, the last chapter we covered the end of the tournament, which is great. I will say this though, and I've said this before, but we're here, so we might as well talk about it. I do feel like in my opinion, only my opinion, I do feel, and we're going to pull up the manga here in just a moment. Here we are. I do think that the anime version of this arc is a little bit better because, and I will get into it when we get there, Goku's side quest, I think, was a lot more interesting in the anime than it was in the manga.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, the anime in most cases in the original Dragon Ball era just enhances the manga. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, no, but not always. See,
Not always, in most
yeah,
cases. Yeah.
yeah, because like I think the Red Ribbon Army is easier to read in the manga, but I do think that in the anime, it's not bad. It's just easier in the manga. But this arc, the Piccolo arc, they added so much good stuff. It's the same thing with the Saiyan arc. It's great, and we're also about to meet a couple new characters too as we go through. So I hope y'all are having a good day. Let's go ahead and get to it then, bro. Chapter 135, The Death of Kuririn. I wonder if those weird spellings are over. Kuririn is correct, but I mean that Zing Ching Chan. I don't know why. It's weird that they would say in one translation Tianjin Sang or whatever. The other one they'd say Tien. Like, I feel like that we were laughing about it last couple of weeks as it's weird, and I'm wondering if this particular manga translation is if it's bad or if it's done by multiple people. I wouldn't say bad, but I think there's some questionable things, but
Right.
it is what it is, bro. So first of all, this splash page where it shows Roshi, Krillin, and Goku. Now notice these images are from when they were training together, not from right now. This is back from when they were training. So I think it's supposed to be like a reminder of Goku and Krillin's relationship or
Yeah.
whatever. And then of course we've got Demon King Piccolo in the back there, and that's our first real look at him. Like, that's our first look at like people who are reading for the first time. That's your first look. So we're doing right to left as promised, and as where we left off last time is Goku got second place in the tournament, and then he heard Krillin scream, and then he went to go see what was going on. But in the anime, he sensed it. We talked about that. So we find out here that this mysterious assassin not only killed him, but also stole the Dragon Ball. So that already tells us that whoever this mystery new enemy is knew about the Dragon Balls. And when a villain knows about the Dragon Balls, that means it's a race to get them. If the villain does not know about them, it's okay. But if they do, it's a race to get them. But the thing about Dragon Ball is, especially during this era, is that most of the time the villains did know. I don't think it was until later that it became less of a problem. Because in the Buu arc and in like the Moro arc and stuff, the Dragon Balls, I mean, Moro did use them and he knew, but like the Dragon Balls take a back seat. But here, they're still important to the story.
Yeah, I think that the series overall does a good job including them when they can. Like they always include them somehow. But yes, they do sort of take a back seat to the danger that the villain poses in some stories, for sure.
For sure, for sure. And then they have to use the Dragon Balls to like resurrect people, and that kind of became the Dragon Balls. After a time, sort of became the MacGuffins that were used just to bring people back.
Right. Now, what's really, really interesting about this, and I'll start this off with, again, reminding everyone that Krillin is based on a character that complements the character that Goku was based on. And that character just so happens to be the character that Sun Wukong learns empathy for the first time. So picking Krillin was not accidental. Goku having this reaction to Krillin is the same reaction every time Wukong's master died, because again, he is the first person that Wukong really develops actual feelings for. So this is a nod and a reference to that. And that's one of the struggles that Sun Wukong had to go through in Journey to the West is, despite the fact that he cared about his master, sometimes he would lose himself to his emotions whenever his master was in danger, and he would do things that his master would still look down on. So despite the fact that he cared about his master, sometimes he would do things that his master wouldn't want him doing, in the name of vengeance, right?
Which is exactly what we see here from Roshi. Roshi is trying to protect Goku by telling him, don't fight this guy. It's a warning, like it's an order. Yeah. And Goku's like, fuck it. In the chat, Mecha J says the first time Goku shows his rage, and he's definitely never been this angry before. The
confrontational attitude between Roshi and Goku is so intense because we have never, ever seen that between Roshi and Goku before. They've always had a very, very relaxed relationship. If anything, Roshi has just been amused by Goku for the most part up to this point. So the fact that they're having to scream at each other really like sets the tone for like this arc moving forward.
Yes, for sure. Justin Sullivan says Krillin's death not only marked the first time he died, but was also the first time a member of the main cast died as well. And what a tragic death it was. Yes, I agree. Some would say it was Bora, but I don't know if I ever considered Bora a member of the main cast. Upa was for a very, very, very brief time in the Baba tournament, but Krillin is somebody who we've been familiar with since the very, very, like, not the very beginning, because he wasn't in the Pilaf arc, but he was in the training. And so, yeah, it was kind of a big deal. And the thing you got to remember is this was very ballsy for Toriyama, because killing a main character, even though, of course, at the time we didn't really see resurrections all that much. We saw Bora and that's it. So we knew that was always a possibility. But, for Toriyama, who up until this point was kind of regarded as a gag manga writer, to get dark like this, I can only imagine how shocking it must have been for people who were avid readers of Toriyama back in the day, back in the 80s, when we had gotten almost a full decade of Dr. Slump, and then we have this happening.
Yeah, it really explains why Dragon Ball blew up after the martial arts tournament based stuff, because as we pointed out in previous episodes, his editor was pushing him to do martial arts combat based stuff because he thought it would be good for the series. And despite the fact that this is sort of moving away from like the tournament aesthetics and stuff like that, it's still such a twist, and such an interesting new dynamic added to the series that it just perpetuated the series to greater heights, despite the fact that it was also a great change in the series. So
Yeah, it was. And I mean, I would be a fool if I didn't recognize that most fans, especially over here in the West, I think like the dark, combat aspect of Dragon Ball more than the comedy. It's certainly one of the things that got me into it. Like, I'm not one of those guys that thinks that I mean, I've talked about American fans when they're disrespectful, and that's bad. But if your preference is like the action stuff, I've never been against that because Toriyama was a super talented artist when it came to action. We've been talking about that every single Mangalorian, bro. Like, we see this man drawing these incredible fight scenes in the manga that were used as storyboards for the anime, and effectively, I would say.
yeah, and I would like to imagine that when Toriyama was writing this arc, that he felt like an excitement and a sense of anxiety due to the fact that he was essentially going into new territory. I would like to think that as he was writing that you can kind of feel that he's experimenting and trying something new and innovative for himself. And the fact that it worked out very well is just a testament to like how talented Toriyama was in every aspect, to the point that he didn't really even give himself enough credit for this. To be honest with you, like he really pulled off something amazing, and that's the reason that this arc had such a huge impact on the rest of the arcs moving forward, is because you can tell Toriyama became more comfortable with this style of storytelling after this arc.
Yeah, and not just that, but it was his first attempt at really doing something like this. And not only did it work out, but you say that he didn't give himself enough credit, but he did state that Piccolo versus Goku, Demon King Piccolo versus Goku, is his favorite fight. The one at the end of the arc, the one with Tien there and everything. So I do feel like that.
He was definitely feeling himself a little bit.
Well, I think he looked back and was like, it was probably what you were talking about. He probably was like, I didn't think I could pull this off the way I did, but I did. And B Wheezy Bindle in the chat said he was sick. Yeah, and that's something we'll talk about when we get there. The last few chapters, he was sick. I think the last like 3 chapters of this arc, 2 or 3, he was sick. And we're gonna get there. I'm not sure if we'll get there this week because this is, I think this arc is gonna be 2 volumes. But certainly that's the case. Let me go ahead and take this super chat from Xavier. Always generous. Thank you, Xavier. He says, what's your guys' favorite era of members lineup of the Z Fighters? Well, they weren't Z Fighters back then. They were called the Dragon Team. I don't think the term Z Fighters was used until the Bardock special, because in the Bardock special, it was called the father of Z Fighter Kakaroto in the title of the special, in the Japanese title. That's the first time. That's a trivia note right there. That is the first time the word Z Fighter was ever used. And I find that interesting because, it's weird that they use the term Z Fighter in Dragon Ball Z. But yes, I'm not trying to be like pedantic here. I'm just letting everybody know that it's interesting that the term Z Fighter was like an anime thing that kind of became known. Like, everybody uses that term now. And I don't even know if they meant for it to be like that. So to answer his question, though, what is your favorite lineup of I guess he means like the main characters. We've got the Saiyans in the Cell Saga. We've got in the Frieza Saga, it was like Krillin, Vegeta, Goku, Gohan, and maybe Dende if you want to throw them in there and nail at times, but not really. They weren't part of the main cast. So what's yours?
I think that to me it got the most interesting after 10, Piccolo, and Vegeta were all there, because they were like a succession of characters that all had very similar themes when it came to Goku's effect on them. I think the series kind of eased into a really cool dynamic when it comes to like these really, really evil characters being on Goku's side and helping him get through these events. So to me, I guess the more evil, because, the characters got progressively more evil from Ten Shinhan to Piccolo to Vegeta. I think it got more interesting as the arcs went by because you got to see all the characters essentially come full circle. So to me, how the characters were during the time of the lineup is actually more important to me than the lineup itself, right? It's not just it's not the lineup of the characters, but like for example, like Vegeta is super. He's a good guy in the Android saga technically, but he's still super annoying. And
Well, yeah, he's very selfish.
yeah, and he's not near as enjoyable as he is in the Boo saga. So I would say, like, by the time the entire series wraps up, I think that's where the lineup is at its peak, in my opinion.
So you're saying like Boo Arc or End of
Yeah.
Z?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. Well, what? How do you feel about like GT? Because he also brought up GT or Super. Are there any lineups? I mean, the thing about GT, it's difficult to say that's a great. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad lineup, but GT people say it's Goku time because it was just Goku and Trunks and Pan.
They stopped focusing on the Goku effect so much. It was more about like a contained set of events rather than Goku like affecting more and more and more people in the way that Z was like creating that cycle where the cast was growing around Goku because Goku was having an impact on more and more people as the series progressed. GT kind of took a pause from that. So that's the reason that you can't really, when it comes to talking about GT, you can't really have the same conversation because there is no lineup that's really unique in GT in comparison to Super. In Super, you got literally like Frieza working with them by the time the Tournament of Power rolls around. So that I find that much more interesting. So like as far as Super goes, of course, by the time the Tournament of Power rolls around, I think that's probably the peak of them pointing out, Goku's allies growing around him because you've got the androids, you've got Frieza. Hit even helps Goku in the Tournament of Power. But the universes even work together in the Tournament of Power. So, like, Super really, really played on that a lot. And that's something I enjoyed about Super particularly. But in terms of having a favorite lineup in Super, I think it's pretty much a similar answer. I think by the time they get to, everybody's peak development, that's when I enjoy it the most, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I agree. I think the best lineup for Super was Tournament of Power. Because I mean the rest of the show is Goku and Vegeta doing everything, really, most of the stuff. For the original manga, though, I think my personal favorite, would be the 23rd tournament going into the Saiyan arc. Those are my two favorite arcs, but back then, like I like that the humans were still used. By the time we get to the Cell Saga, it became the Saiyan show. But I want to say, I do love the Cell Saga lineup. I love how it's Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, the fathers and the sons, and Piccolo. Like, I've always thought that's a cool, a great lineup. So feel free to let us know what your lineups are in the comments or in the chat, or your favorite lineup. Justin Sullivan says, whenever Goku's angry, he's at his most badass is probably what he meant to say. And this arc is a prime example of that, as displayed by later events of the arc. For sure, angry characters in Dragon Ball are always interesting, especially every time Goku gets mad, he tends to untap into some secret power. Gohan especially, but be careful, because the lesson that martial arts and Dragon Ball teaches us is that if you can't control that anger, you're going to make mistakes in a fight. And that's also interesting.
Yeah, well, it's more so about consciously wanting to hurt someone rather than just subduing him for the sake of subduing them, right? And a lot of people kind of look at Goku's behavior here as kind of an inconsistency. And if
I disagree. How? His best buddy died.
Right, but if okay, it would be an inconsistency. This is why people look at it that way, because they can't think how Goku thinks, right? It would be an inconsistency if Goku was like, I want to kill this person for me, right?
Yeah,
but that's not what he's saying. He's saying, I'm going to do this for Krillin. So the series kind of gives him a scapegoat in the sense that his empathy for other people is the reason he feels such strong emotion, right? It's not that he feels like he himself has been wronged. And even when he himself has been wronged plenty of times in the series in the past, he never gets near as angry about that as he does seeing his friends and the people that he cares about getting hurt. So
Right.
it's not an inconsistency in any way in that sense.
No, it's a logical emotion that anybody would feel, especially since Krillin didn't do anything to anyone, bro. We're going to get into why he was killed and all that here shortly. Jared J, do you think Daima will be connected to DBS? It is connected to DBS. Well, I'll go over that later this week. I do want to highlight Owl's comment here. Krillin's death represents the ideas of striving being squashed by evil prematurely. This idea of striving rightly, moving well, which Krillin represents, is the reason why Goku has this reaction. That's not a bad I guess conclusion that he came to.
Yeah, because Krillin is an example of what Goku is becoming himself as a healthy practicing martial artist. And Krillin did kind of meet like sort of like the peak of his character arc in a sense at this point in the series, right before he died, because he had that friendly sparring match with Goku rather than being like hateful towards him when they first met. So Krillin had grown a lot as a person, and he was like a living example of like, what Goku was becoming that was good. And the person that killed him is an example of the opposite. So yeah, that's not a bad way of looking at it.
Yeah, sure. It's mostly the fact that he was innocent and didn't hurt anybody, and that was his boy. I mean, they did bond. Krillin and Goku bonded for sure.
Yeah.
But it's all about that sort of that justice. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. So now what's interesting is there was a piece of paper left behind, and this is where we start to get to our little Scooby-Doo section, trying to figure out what's going on here. And this has the Ma symbol, which of course means demon. We're going to be exploring. We might see that. Well, we're going to see that symbol in Daima, but we're going to be exploring demons again. It's a similar concept, but this is where Goku where Roshi realizes there's a major problem here because he recognizes that. And here is where Roshi tells the tale in flashback of the first time that Demon King Piccolo assaulted the earth. And I love how he's still in shadows here, and he talks about the monsters that he brought to the planet and how his master, Mutaito-sama, who's a great forgotten Dragon Ball character. I'm a huge fan of this character. Not that he had like all that. He wasn't in the story that much, but I'm a fan of his because it's Goku's master's master. And so it makes you wonder, like, what was his life like? What kind of challenges did he overcome? I always wanted, and I know a lot of fans want them to do like a Mr. Miyagi prequel story, like when he was young and after Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. I would love a Mutaito story, but I feel like a lot of the fandom wouldn't really dig it because it's not one of the main characters, but I still want to know about him.
Yeah, and the fact that, he is the reason that Goku, along with Roshi, of course, like he and that line of martial artists is the reason that martial artists like Grandpa Gohan and Roshi and people of that caliber exist on Earth. So it would be really cool to get some background information on why or how, he and all of these other martial artists developed on Earth. And it probably has something to do with, Kami and, the development of mortals and stuff like that. But yeah, it would be really cool to see for sure. You're muted, Danny.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. I went to blow my nose and I muted the mic and I forgot to unmute. Yeah, because I didn't want the noise to disrupt you. The closest we came was that filler episode, one of my favorite episodes, Time Traveling Goku, where he goes back and meets the predecessor of Ranfan and Roshi and Crane as a kid. We got that, but that was anime only. This is the first time we ever see the technique, the Mafuba technique. This is the first time we've ever seen the technique in the series. That would, of course, be a major thing coming up. And then here we have the what happened with Piccolo being sealed away. Now, we're going to talk more about this when we get there, but it says...
This is Toriyama's silly way of having Goku face his past without like really telling you that that's what's going on. And what I mean by that is, as I've talked about in previous episodes, Goku himself is based on a demon. He's based on a demon who, due to falling victim to his evil nature, was sealed away, right? So this is kind of like Goku facing like like the evil half of his nature that's been completely cut from him as a character because he's Goku. Like that's kind of what Piccolo represents. He's literally like all the evil that Goku could have had separated and incarnated as a character. He's literally like a pure evil character. He's the antithesis of Goku in every way, which is why he's like one of the most important villains like in the franchise. Because when he's introduced for the sake of essentially very similar to Ten Shinhan, but in a different way, to parallel Goku in that way. Like he's a demon for a reason, essentially.
Yeah, Ten Shinhan was misguided. I would say Vegeta was more of a dick than Ten Shinhan, but he was hold on, I accidentally went back there. But Vegeta was also like misguided because of his sort of screwed up ideology. And it took a long time for him to put his ego aside. But Piccolo's just evil. That's just how it is. So Justin said, thank you, Justin. I love how Piccolo Daimao was essentially represented as this sovereign figure for the franchise. It really set him apart from other villains of the series. I guess when he says Sauron, I guess he's talking about Lord of the Rings.
Where he's like sending these demonic figures to do his bidding. And he's like the mastermind. He's like the puppet behind closed doors. But when you get in his grill, when you get in his face, he's like a force to be reckoned with. So, yeah.
It's classic, like, it goes all the way back to, like, even Judeo-Christian with Satan. He has the demons. Hey, look, Demon King Piccolo. So it's like the oldest story ever. You know what I mean? Like, good versus evil. And it's the story. Let's not forget, not only is the story the oldest story ever, it's the most used story ever because let's look at the world. Every single video game, well, not every single literally, but most video games are formatted to where you don't fight the final boss early, although sometimes you do. You fight his minions, then you get to the final boss. It's just it's classic storytelling, man, and it works, I think.
And it's interesting for a number of reasons, but it's very interesting in this case because, again, Goku is based on a demon, and one of the issues that he had is anytime he would fall victim to his emotions, that's when his demonic nature would come out. So this entire thing, this is before Goku was a Saiyan. This story is being told, within the assumption that he's based on a Japanese demon. So you're supposed to look at it within that context. So Demon King Piccolo is really pushing Goku to fall victim to his inner demons in the sense. And that is why this arc is my favorite, because it really pushes like what Goku is as a character to the extremes. And I just think that's really awesome. But despite that, he still consistently does everything with a pure heart. And Toriyama even illustrates that to us by having Goku immediately jump on the Nimbus Cloud, despite having the intent of going to take out whoever killed Krillin. He's immediately jumping on Nimbus to go take this person out. To do so, essentially communicating to you again through Nimbus that, Goku has pure intentions, despite the fact that he wants to go avenge Krillin. So I think it's just really ridiculously good, subtle storytelling. He's not like outright telling you all this stuff, but if you understand the context, it's subtle enough that it enhances the story a lot,
Yep. That's it. I mean, that I can't add anything to that. Roshi is spooked because he doesn't know how the denshi jar, which is the rice cooker, was open, and so he's over here. The reason why Roshi is here right now is because Toriyama utilizes Roshi as the expository character to explain to us what the hell we're about to be up against, and he's the one that's putting over this terrifying villain. Roshi's usually the one, and I've talked about this before, the exposition character. Whis became it later. Piccolo became it later. He is the one telling the audience, hey, this is going on. So, yeah.
Right.
Anyways, so again, Roshi's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. why would Tambourine take the Dragon Ball and then take the registry of the Tenkaichi Budokai? Because he took the list of martial artists. And what? Why? Well, we're gonna
They're
get
trying
to
to
that.
kill all the Jedi, bro.
Yes, they're trying to kill. We're gonna get to that here in just a minute. So we cut to this ship here, and we see Demon King Piccolo for the first time. This throne, obviously, there would be variations of it that we see later on in Planet Namek. Toriyama remembered how he did this. We've talked before about this character right here, Piano, who's like his right-hand man. Also, very similar to Dragon Quest, one of Dragon Quest III's antagonists, Baramos. They're very not identical, but they're similar in the way that they look and the whole chain around his neck thing. But Piccolo is here, and again, like Jordan said, you have to read Dragon Ball from the context of what was going on back then. At this point, Piccolo was not a Namekian and Goku was not a Saiyan, like you said. He was a demon, and Goku was like a reformed demon. You have to take the Saiyan and Namek stuff out of your brain until it gets revealed. It can still be there in the back of your head, but that wasn't what Toriyama intended early, like during this time. Later on, of course, you know. So then we find out that it was Pilaf who freed Piccolo. Now, we have not seen Pilaf since the last parts of the Baba arc where Goku fought the Pilaf Robo, and I do like how Toriyama, instead of killing Pilaf off, instead of doing what the MCU did with all its villains and killing them off in their movies, instead he uses Pilaf as sort of like a recurring villain, like a guy who's causing problems for Goku, not because he's this he's that powerful, but because he's fucking around with shit that he doesn't know what he's fucking around with.
He's the villain that becomes a worm to the more powerful villain.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and basically here we find out what Piccolo's motivations are. And actually Yash made a good point. He said, this is the last time we're going to see Pilaf in the OG manga. And it is the last time we saw him in the anime all the way till GT. We didn't see him again. He wasn't in Z. Pilaf was not in a single shot of Z except for flashbacks. And that's kind of surprising that whole, long era did not even have a cameo from Pilaf. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is strange. Now, this is another example of Goku facing his past. So literally, within the first few chapters of Journey to the West, the first thing that Sun Wukong determines that he wants is eternal youth. That's literally the first thing that he says that he wants, like he really desires. And then later on, he decides he wants to rule everything as well. So this is just another example of like Piccolo being an exemplary character of like the character traits that Goku no longer has, and why he's like a pure-hearted boy. And he's sort of like, again, like facing the past in this sense.
And if you see here, he actually says, he goes, I want everlasting youth, and then he can manage to expand. I'll be able to place his world under my rule for all eternity. So, yeah, I mean, the everlasting youth thing, there's been a lot of stories throughout history, too, of like, both good people and bad people, like trying to find the fountain of youth, and this idea of being young forever, because being immortal is one thing, but you're still going to age and feel pain. But being eternally young means you still have the wherewithal of youth. I want to highlight this comment from Kurama because he's right. Piccolo is also in prison just like Sun Wukong was. You want to elaborate on that? Because that's really a great point he made.
Yeah, all of this, Toriyama is basically just doing his own spin on everything that made Sun Wukong evil in the first part of Journey to the West, and putting that into Piccolo, and it's not necessarily because, he wants to use Sun Wukong. It just so happens that Sun Wukong, again, Goku is based on, and in mythology, he is an example of one of the many, 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 many legends where demons have this attitude where they want to live forever. Because remember, a lot of the demons that Sun Wukong himself had to fight in Journey to the West wanted to eat Tripitaka so they could become immortal. And if they had their way, they would have also taken down the Jade Emperor and ruled heaven too. So more than anything, it's like a common character trait amongst demons in Journey to the West. It just so happens that Sun Wukong is like the most exemplary example of that early on in the story. And then all the demons sort of like, it's a very similar thing to what we're seeing here. Sun Wukong in his story fights his own past in the sense that anytime he's fighting a demon in the novel, the demon is behaving as though he used to behave. And he has to look at that and be like, oh, wow, this is what I used to be, you know? Like, so it's a very, very similar thing. It's something that Toriyama is purposely playing on trope-wise again here.
And I do love how Pilaf here is asking for half the world because he's over here. I mean, he makes good points. I released you from the Genshi jar, and I gave you my ship, and I told you about the Dragon Balls. Like, Pilaf genuinely did some really, really good things for Piccolo. But Piccolo, being the selfish asshole that he is, no, I'm not giving you.
He's the Sith Lord. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Yeah. Also, I have not played Black Myth Wukong, but Jordan, are you still doing the playthrough? I know you did a couple of them last time.
Yeah, I just can't get my stream quality to my, you know, standards. I have had a lot of fun interacting with my subscribers and stuff like that. So if you want to interact with me while I play Black Myth Wukong, you can subscribe and check me out. I probably will do a few more playthroughs and play through it some more. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I just can't. It's just the stream quality is not great. But if you want to talk to me and hang out with me, by all means, yeah, come check it out.
There is a link to Jordan's stream. I'm sorry, Jordan's channel in the description down below. Let me get this. Well, I'm going to get Justin's super chat here, but now here, okay. Here is where we start to get a clue before I get to Justin's super chat of Piccolo's fear. Piccolo is deathly afraid of martial artists because of what Mutaito did to him. It even says here, he knows that the Mafuba sealed him, and he wants to. His goal is to kill every single martial artist because if just one of them, just one knows the Mafuba technique, he would be sealed in there again. And you have to remember, guys, in some ways, being sealed for hundreds of years or whatever is worse than being dead because you're trapped and you can't do anything, and you are trapped in that little ass rice cooker for, you know, hundreds of years. When you're dead, you at least are doing something in the afterlife. It's a fate worse than death, man. I mean, Garlic Jr. at the end of the first Dragon Ball Z movie was stuck in the dead zone because he was immortal, so he could never die. It's like you're stuck there forever. Like
and
that's a horrible to live.
And Wukong was trapped underneath a mountain and was forced to drink molten lava. So you can imagine how bad he had it.
Yes. So Goku catches up to Tambourine, and chapter 136, Target Tenkaichi Budokai. Again, phenomenal art. This is when Goku confronts Tambourine face to face for the first time. Tambourine, you know, has no idea who he is. Of course, in the anime, he was played by Ryusei Nakao, aka Frieza. So Ryusei Nakao killed Krillin 2 times in Dragon Ball, which I've always thought was great, and he has a great voice. Goku here screaming. I mean, look at him, bro, screaming at Tambourine. Like, we never see Goku this mad. He tries to attack Tambourine, but of course, Tambourine's too much for him. This is a different level of enemy. Tambourine knows how to use Ki Blast great. And then we see something that we thought was impossible. Tambourine destroys the Kintone. He destroys the Nimbus Cloud. So Goku's method of transportation is Gonzo. Talk about Toriyama really put a lot of heat, and this is one thing I like about his writing when it comes to how he writes his villains. He puts a lot of heat on the villains. Here we're seeing things that no other villain had ever done. Like, who would have thought that you could actually destroy the cloud, you know?
Yeah, and you know, it does sort of represent Goku almost falling victim to his emotions. Like, he's coming as close as ever to, because that's what Demon King Piccolo represents. He represents Goku being pushed to his absolute limit, almost to the point of giving into his impure intentions. So it makes sense thematically too for, you know, for the Nimbus to be destroyed. So
Justin says, tell me something, Danny. Jordan said that Piccolo has similarities to the evil that was part of Wukong, but I would assume Tai Mao would be inspired off the Jade Emperor. What do you think about that?
No, you got to remember that Sun Wukong wanted to be the Jade Emperor. So it's not, now don't get me wrong, the Jade Emperor was very fearful of Sun Wukong, and that's the reason he sent his many gods to try and take him out. So in that sense, there is kind of a parallel there, because most of what Sun Wukong had to deal with early in the novel is the Jade Emperor sitting in a throne, right, sending gods to go try and take him down while he's just ruling from the throne or whatever. But in this sense, it's actually kind of a role reversal, because he's not the Jade Emperor. He's not in charge of Earth. He wants to destroy all the martial artists so he can be in charge of Earth. So it's kind of, in that sense, it kind of does seem like a mix of the Jade Emperor and Sun Wukong's motivations. But I'm not exactly sure if that's where Toriyama's head was at. If it is, that's awesome. But he definitely reflects Sun Wukong way more as a character than the Jade Emperor.
And also, don't forget that I don't think he's entirely wrong, because Toriyama likes to take bits and pieces of other characters and merge them. So yeah, Xavier says, didn't Silver destroy the cloud in the anime? We're talking about the manga here originally. Like, that was the first time Toriyama had destroyed the cloud. Are you talking about Terry Silver? Because let me tell you something. Terry Silver is way more evil than Silver in Dragon Ball, bro. What an asshole, bro. Nicholas said Geekdom is correct. The anime is much better. Of this arc, I would say so. Not every arc, but of this arc, I would say so. And so while that's going on, they're sitting there waiting for Goku, which is kind of a moot point because he might not get back. It's nighttime now. Yamcha's still injured. Goku's tired from the tournament. Like, these guys are just not at 100%. Excuse me. That's why I was muting. So Tambourine brings a Dragon Ball back to Piccolo, but that's not his goal. His goal is to kill the martial artist. No, his goals for the Dragon Balls, but I'm sorry, Tambourine's mission is to kill the martial artist. So,
right.
So and then, yes, and here we see him looking at the little pieces of paper that have pictures of the martial artists from the registry, so he knows what they look like and what to look for. And then he recognizes Goku, and this is where, like, Pilaf is like, oh, you beat him, and then Tambourine says, I killed him, and that's because Goku fell. He got hit by Tambourine, and he went down, and he thought Goku couldn't survive that, but of course Goku survives a lot in this show. And so it's one of those things where, like, Tambourine made the mistake that so many villains in fiction make. He didn't check to see if the guy was actually dead. Check the body, make sure he's dead. How many villains have made this mistake, dude?
A lot of villains, bro.
Make sure you actually got him. Like, come on. So, and again, here we have Piccolo reiterating his mission. So, chapter 137, we move on here with the next phase of the plan. He wants the Dragon Balls. We know that, and he's going to have Tambourine do his thing. And now we're actually witnessing Piccolo giving birth for the first time, first time we see him do it. And I've talked about this in previous videos, and I do have a video coming out about it. I have a video coming out sometime. I don't know exactly when, but I did a video about the Demon Clan, part of the new Dragon Ball Cosmology series. I actually edited last night. I edited a video last night. It was like 3 a.m. Because bro, when I can't sleep, bro, I get up and start editing. I gotta be productive. You know what I mean?
No, I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So, and Sean Paul says in the anime he kicked his ass more. That's true. But this birthing technique, obviously, this wasn't the plan when Toriyama first came up with this. But the idea of Piccolo laying eggs is a Namekian thing, because we find out in the Namek arc that Namekians lay eggs. Usually a Grand Elder does that to populate the species, kind of like the Alien Queen. But what's happening here is, because Demon King Piccolo is pure evil, he's not creating your traditional Namekian. He's not creating, a noble character. Instead, he's creating an evil, demonic, polluted version of what a Namekian would be. So these things are not Namekian. Whatever comes out of his mouth, is not a Namekian. It is a Mazoku. That's what it's called, which is Demon Clansmen, because they're not Namekians. Or if they are, they're polluted. It's basically taking the idea of giving birth and making it like a polluted and twisted concept. It reminds me of this horror movie. There's a horror movie that came out in 1990. It's very, very, very obscure. You'd probably think the concept was funny. I don't mean to gross anybody out, but the horror movie's a low budget horror where a woman has an abortion and the fetus is thrown into the sewer, and in the sewer the fetus mixes in with toxic waste, and it mutates into this creature that wants to find its mother, except it's a monster. It's really gross and disgusting. That's what this sort of is, and that came after this, but it's like the idea of, birthing a life is supposed to be a beautiful thing, but not when Demon King Piccolo does it.
No, he's giving birth to pure evil, just like you said.
And I like how these Mazokus look like dragons, bro. They look like dragons and monsters and whatnot. Are you a fighter? Yes, master. You know your role. Find the 6 Dragon Balls. Understood. Because remember, Tambourine's mission is to kill the martial artist. Now, Symbol's job is to find the Dragon Balls. Let's get to Justin's super chat here. Thank you so much for your generosity, Justin. It means a lot to me. He says, you could say that Piccolo Daimao was essentially Goku's original arch enemy, considering that he killed 3 of Goku's friends, and he essentially was a polar opposite to what Goku stands for. Correct. I completely agree with that, which is why the Ma Junior Piccolo's arc of turning good due to Goku's son is so poetic.
Right. It's very impactful in that sense, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll definitely cross that bridge more when we come to it, for sure.
Yeah, I think that you could say that Piccolo was Goku's arch rival, certainly from this perspective. Vegeta became that only because for a long time, Vegeta was the only surviving member of the Saiyan race besides Goku. Of course, later on, we'd meet Tarble and Broly and a few others when, in the Dragon Ball, the modern Dragon Ball era. But there was only 2 survivors at the time, and it was those 2. So... Right. It sort of implies Goku's connection to his past and why he doesn't want to be like that. Fun fact, Tambourine is the second villain to defeat Goku in a fight. Tien doesn't count since he was reformed by the end of the first fight with Goku. Yeah, Tao Pai Pai was the first.
Yeah.
But you have to have the good guy this is classic storytelling. Again, goes back to the Bible. Any story with drama. The bad guy has to win first, so that when the good guy wins, it means more. You have to have the bad guy win first. You have to. Like you just can't get away from that. So they're both sent off, and again, we've got a couple of problems here. Symbol and Tambourine, yes. And in case you're wondering, which I'm sure you figured out by now, they are all named after musical instruments. Piccolo is the flute, Tambourine, Symbol, piano, and later on drum. So there you go. Moving on. So they're back at Kame House again. There's a filler. There's like a filler scene where they show a lot of the tournament guys getting killed. Some of it's actually here, and they actually have Yamcha fight Tambourine. That was not in the manga. But here we have the news report talking about the death of Yamu. And that's a bummer because he was not a bad guy. We saw more of him in the anime. So we're seeing all these martial artists that we have been seeing going back to the last 2 tournaments getting killed, and I really love how Toriyama borrowed these characters that we thought we'd never see again and figured out a way to bring them back in this arc. I really do like this arc because of the way it ties everything back up together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For sure. And of course, Yamcha wants to go warn them. I mean, that makes perfect sense. There's going to be a high body count here. So Goku's not dead. Turns out he survived the fall because he's Goku. Oh, did I say Yam? He said Nam. Yeah, I always Yam is the guy who was with Sopopovich, and I always get those 2 mixed up in my head because they have similar names like Namu and Yamu, and so yeah, it is Nam. Yeah, I always get them mixed up in my head. I mean, I know who they are obviously, but their names Like my brain crosses them a lot. I don't know why. Maybe because they sound so much alike.
Man, I have a similar issue all the time. It's all good.
Yeah. I don't mean to sound like an idiot. And then Goku stumbles upon this giant fish. We know Goku likes fish being grilled here, and I love it. I mean, that's just awesome by itself. Chapter 138, The Weirdo with the Ball. Now we're introduced to Yajirobe. Now, there's a myth that I heard somewhere, and this is completely false, but there's like this misconception or this fake rumor that Toriyama created Yajirobe to give the voice actors for Krillin more work to because it's the same. It's Mayumi Tanaka. Excuse me. She voices Krillin and Yajirobe, and later on Luffy in One Piece. That's false. Toriyama did not create this character to give a voice actor work because how many people did he kill off to take work away from voice actors? That's not when Toriyama writes the manga. He's not thinking about voice actors in his head, except for Nozawa, because he did state in an interview that when he draws Goku after hearing Nozawa's interpretation of Goku, that's who he imagines Goku's voice sounding like. And that's very cool because it shows how much Nozawa's Goku imprinted on the man.
Right, and Yajirobe definitely has a narrative reason for being introduced here, but we'll get into that here in just a minute.
Brock says, it's thundering out here. I hope I don't lose power. The theme of musical instruments follows that of Lucifer and his desire to play his own music rather than participate in God's song. It also follows Tolkien's creation myth. Well, Tolkien's creation myth was borrowed from Lucifer and God, except Tolkien had the music thing. Yeah, if you look at the Silmarillion, basically they explain in the Silmarillion, which is the prequel to Lord of the Rings, that God created these angels called the Ainur, and they're not called angels, they're just called Ainur, but they're supposed to be angels. And the lead angel is named Melkor, and his music countered the other angels' music, and that was sort of the metaphor for him being evil. So that's what Brock's talking about, and I'm glad I'm familiar with that, bro, because I think other content creators would not have any idea what I was talking about. But, I'm not a super hardcore Tolkien fan, but I do like his work a lot, and I do respect it. Justin says Goku meets Jack Black. It is kind of creepy that Yajirobe looks a lot like Jack Black.
Yeah, and he kind of acts like some of his characters, too.
Right, yeah. Almost like a Shallow Hal type of thing, bro. Yeah. I got to see that movie again. So Goku is full after eating the fish that doesn't belong to him. So he's got his energy back because Goku eats for energy. And he's pissed off because he lost the cloud. And then somebody throws a rock at Goku. And that's when we're first introduced to Yajirobe, who's upset because he ate Goku's food. Now, I will say this. I do want to address the whole thing with Mayumi Tanaka. I don't think Toriyama... I mean, I know he didn't create Yajirobe to give her a job or whatever, but he's definitely created him to be sort of not a replacement for Krillin, but like a new sidekick for Goku to meet because Krillin was gone. We didn't know anything about Yajirobe until this chapter.
Well, he's a samurai, and that's very, very important, but we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, when he fights Simba, we'll get to it. We can talk about it because that is a big piece of lore. And here they hate each other because Goku thinks he's working for with Tambourine, and Yajirobe's mad because he took his excuse me. He took his food, he ate it. And here they're just arguing like kids. I mean, they kind of are kids. I mean, really. And we see that Yajirobe is not no hoe, bro. Yajirobe ain't no punk, bro. He scores a hit on Goku, which you would if the only Yajirobe you know of is the coward from Z, who he became in the latter half of the series. It would surprise you to know that he is strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to address this question here quickly. Junior says, "What's up, guys? What's your favorite vegetable to eat?" Mine is broccoli. What's yours?
Same.
Okay. Yeah. I like broccoli, bro. I don't know. Kids say they don't like broccoli, bro, but I like broccoli. I always liked it. So I love this punch right here. I love this panel right here of Goku punching Yajirobe, bro, because Toriyama illustrates his big cheek like movie. It's like It's Mr.
up his cheek.
When Trunks punches Mr. Satan and you see like this whole ass like mouth, like I'm a big fan of that, bro. So Yajirobe is hanging in there with Goku, and I love I've never met anybody this strong before, but then he notices, of course, the Dragon Ball. Now, this is something I've always wondered about. The Dragon Balls are made of marble. So how the hell did Toriyama drill a hole in the Dragon Box to put the damn thing, the little necklace thing through, bro? People have asked me that question, and I have no answer. I don't know how he drilled the hole. I don't even think Toriyama knew. I don't think he cared.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, because he says that the Dragon Balls are made up of marble. He said that. Like that was a literally like an interview he did. So I don't know. Yash says broccoli physically doesn't go down my throat. It's weird, not an exaggeration for emphasis. Literally comes right back up. Maybe you're not chewing enough, bro. Like make sure you chew your food, bro. Don't forget. Maybe Yash has no teeth, bro, and we're the ones that have been fooled the whole time, bro. Hopefully not. Hopefully he does have teeth. Anyways, I'm sure he has teeth, bro. Just chew more, bro. That's all I can think of. Unless you might be allergic to it, so maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people assume that Yajirobe is like this, just like this barbarian, based on his looks. But actually, you can tell he has studied the principles of what it takes to be a decently strong samurai. So he's not a martial artist in the same way that Goku is, but he's practiced enough that, like you pointed out, he can kind of keep up with Goku a little bit. And he's also ridiculously good with his sword. So he is more disciplined than like people give him credit for sure.
Has Goku ever defeated Yajirobe? I don't think he finished their fight. They never fought again. He could, though, very easily in later parts of the series, but they never fought again. So, yeah, Yajirobe only had a small number of fights. He had that cameo in the 23rd tournament, and, of course, he helped against Vegeta, which was probably the most useful Yajirobe was in the series, because had Yajirobe not cut off Grade 8 Vegeta's tail, and we're going to get there soon, eventually, had that not happened, game over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, had that not happened, they would have lost. So Symbol arrives, and Yajirobe, here's where we actually see how strong Yajirobe is. I'm a big fan of that art, by the way. And he's there finding the Dragon Ball that Yajirobe has. Yajirobe is the one to give it up to him. And here's when Goku and Yajirobe make this sort of unholy alliance. Of course, they have to play rock, paper, scissors to determine who's going to fight the guy. That's Toriyama trope. Well, they do it in other fictional Japanese things too. But yeah, it is. Here comes Yajirobe with the attack. Now we see the fight. So he gets knocked on his ass. And Symbol is basically thinking that that's over. And then Goku's like, kind of marking out in a weird way.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, that's awesome. Yeah.
And I do love how the drawing here, he kicks Symbol in the jaw, but you see his underwear beneath it, bro. Like little things like that. Like he didn't draw shorts or anything. He drew the underwear like a sumo. And then here we have a ki blast from Symbol, which of course misses. And Yajirobe coming in again with the sword this time, and literally slices Symbol in half, bro. This is pretty damn awesome, I would say.
Now, this is a reminder, because remember, Yajirobe is a samurai. He's not just some random barbarian like people like to pretend that he is. He is a samurai. And Yajirobe, like, he didn't care who this person was. He didn't care. All he knew was this was somebody who was obviously doing wrong, trying to rob them of their Dragon Ball, kill Goku, etc. So what did he do? He just wiped him out instantly without letting his emotions get in the way. So Yajirobe is literally showing Goku an example of what he needs to do when facing these demonic entities, which is to essentially just take care of business. Like he's basically showing him that like firsthand.
Right. And but it's. Do you want to go more into the samurai thing, or is that all you had to say
Yeah,
about
so
it?
the samurai, the idea of Budo, which is what Roshi taught Goku, is what the samurai practice. Budo is literally the martial art, quote unquote, that samurai themselves practice. So that's what Goku and Yajirobe have in common here, and they don't even realize it, is that they're both practicing the same ideology. It just so happens that, Yajirobe's human, so he's having to actively put it into practice in a way that Goku subconsciously does. So Goku being a monk and Yajirobe being a samurai is something that Toriyama is purposely playing on here, and sort of like comparing and contrasting their ideologies, and basically sort of in a sense communicating to you the effect that the idea of Japanese martial arts had on ancient Chinese martial arts.
Yep. Yep, it goes back a long way, hundreds of years. Mecha J is right though. He says that Yajirobe has the potential to be a skilled warrior. He doesn't want to put in the effort. Here's the great question, Jordan, or not a great question, a great comment here. He killed and ate a Namek, basically. My friend, you must rewind the stream. I can tell you came late. You need
Yeah.
to. He is not a Namek. You need to rewind the stream, my friend. I say that respectfully. Rewind the stream, because literally it was the very beginning of the stream or early on in the stream. I went over all that. Yash says maybe Yajirobe string ends have magnetically attached ends that make the Dragon Ball latch instead of drilling a hole through the ball.
No, you
Um,
can see the hole in the ball,
you
unfortunately.
and you can see they showed it in the previous art. You can see the line going through it. So yeah, it's just weird. I like his idea though.
Yeah.
Justin, thank you for your generosity today. It does mean a lot. He says, "Oh no, Jack Black killed Earl Sinclair from Dinosaurs." Damn, bro, I haven't heard the name Earl Sinclair. Did you ever watch Dinosaurs, the sitcom, when
Yeah,
you
of
were
course.
younger? That show was kind of ahead of its time, and that show I think is great when it comes to like animatronics and puppets, bro, because they look alive. Them damn
Yeah, it
dinosaurs.
kind of creeps me out watching it today, but yeah.
Well, why? 'Cause it's too realistic, or why does it
Yeah,
creep you
it's
out?
like a fever dream.
It never scared me when I was a kid. And I saw that show when I was a little kid. I liked it, but it is. I can see why it would be a
It
little,
comes off like an alternate reality where the dinosaurs evolved into like human society. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's like a
yeah.
weird fever dream type thing. I don't know how to describe it. It just kind of freaks me out, you know.
It's like the Flintstones, except it's only dinosaurs. Basically,
It's like an even more twisted multiverse type thing, you know.
right. But it's just crazy that he mentioned, yeah, not the mama, that he mentioned Earl Simmons, bro. Wait, did I say Earl Simmons? Earl Sinclair. Earl Simmons is DMX, bro. I got the wrong Earl, bro. DMX, the rapper's Earl Simmons. Now, Piccolo can sense that one of his children died, and in the anime, it's even more graphic because
Exaggerated. Yeah.
he feels pain when one of the demons die, which means that they are spiritually linked to him, which I discussed that in the video I edited today. I don't know when it's going up about the Demon Clan, but what I think is very interesting is this idea of Piccolo being hurt by his children dying is what literally happened to the Grand Elder of Namek, bro.
Yep.
He died, if you remember, he died of old age, but it really wasn't old age. He was depressed and his body was not functioning after so many Namekians have been killed by the likes of Frieza's forces and Vegeta. So it was that depression and that sadness, and that's why, like, when the Dragon Balls were used to bring the Namekians back to life, he came back to life too, because he didn't die entirely of natural causes, because the Namekians didn't die of natural causes. That always made sense to me, and it was a throwback to this moment. And I don't think folks remember that it was throwback to this moment, especially the ones that never saw original Dragon Ball.
Right.
Yes. Thank you, Anime Professor. And then he's over here like shocked that his demons were killed. And of course, Yajirobe is cooking this motherfucker over an open flame, bro. It's so wacky to see. We have not in Dragon Ball seen a character who has not only killed the opponent, but then ate them, who's a good guy. And cooked
He's
them
a
too.
lot like Goku in that way.
He's
a lot like Goku.
And look at this, bro. He devoured that whole. And the thing is, it does. I think when I was streaming this on Twitch, somebody was like, so I think somebody said, what was it? Like they were like, does Demon even taste good? And I don't know, bro. I would assume it's similar meat, but it is like polluted. It is like an evil being. Maybe it doesn't. I have no idea. And yes, Sega Herman is a little bit more brutal in the show. The manga usually is more brutal.
Chapter 1. Yajirobe and Goku's hair blend together in that picture right there.
Yes, they do. It almost looks like Yajirobe's hair is going all the way back like Raditz, bro.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So now Piccolo's like, okay, what the hell happened? Like, he wants to know what the hell's going on. Why? Who killed my son? Who killed my child? You know, because that's what happens. Are there any more?
This is another Wukong thing, because despite the fact that Wukong was really evil at the beginning of Journey to the West, if you killed one of his children, he would flip out on you. So, like, this is another. You didn't mess with people in his clan, essentially. Like that was the only time that he ever showed anything regarding empathy, is if you mess with someone in his clan. So this is another one of those clear parallels.
Xavier says, what wasn't Symbol the weakest of the brothers? Well, you spelled Symbol the other symbol. It's Cymbal for this symbol. It's the same word that has two different, or same sounding word, but it's two different words. And yeah, I think it's implied he is the weakest, so that would make sense. But it still hurts Piccolo. Also, somebody asked, Yash said, are there any moments where the anime is more brutal?
I would say the anime is more brutal in general in this arc, for sure.
I could see that. I have to.
It's just the way later. The way that it's animated, it just kind of gives more of a visceral sense of like violence. Whereas
I don't think it's as gory though.
Probably not, but it definitely seems more violent, if that makes any sense. Like everything is exaggerated and more violent because, you know, for his original fight with Goku, for example, he really messes Goku up in comparison to the manga. You know.
True. Tambourine kicks the shit out of Giron, so he's gone. And I do like, again, seeing these characters again. And he's about to fight. And we saw this. This was all in the anime with the little panda people. Like, they actually kept that there. Giron, again, Dragon Quest fucking looking guy. He goes for the Guru gum. And Tambourine just breaks it.
Yeah.
Just like nothing, you know. And this is pretty damn gruesome, bro, because it's not like he stabs him from the front, he stabs him from the side, and that's just something you don't see every day.
Yeah, that's very gruesome.
And Yash is right, because he brought up the colors do have a sense of brutality. Yeah, we're reading the full color version because I think for streaming purposes, it depends. Some people don't like full color manga because it's not the original colors that were in the original manga, and I respect that. But I think for the Mangalorian, it's best that we do the full color because I think it's easier on the eyes. You know, you agree? Yeah, that's why I chose to do it this way. So, yeah. But he's right though. The 23rd arc did have. That was pretty violent. So next is Yamcha, and that would of course happen in the anime. But before he gets to Yamcha, Piccolo telepathically tells him Symbol's dead, and now Piccolo orders him, no, stop killing the martial.
Redirected, right?
Yeah, you have a new mission now. Figure out what the fuck happened to Symbol. So there you go. And by the way, if you're wondering why it's so dark. It's not supposed to be this dark. It's actually storming out. That's why I'm worried. I hope I don't lose connection. It was super bright earlier today, but it's only like 5 o'clock here. But it's dark out here, man. That's why it's so dark in here. Plus, StreamYard now has dark mode, and I'm very happy about that because, dude, in previous streams it It was so bright on my face, man. Like it was like so bright. It makes me look like I'm a white, like a super pale white guy, which I'm pale. I'm not white in the traditional Caucasian sense. I am pale though, but that made me look even more pale.
Right.
So, and this is the part where Goku says, you know, you sound just like my dead friend Krillin. I don't sound like anyone. This is why people think that Toriyama created this character to give Mayumi Tanaka more work. That's not true. However, it did end up giving Mayumi Tanaka more work because when they were adapting it, they were like, we might as well just get her to voice this character too. And the voice is kind of similar.
And this is so sweet that, like, you know, Goku's thinking about Krillin. And I do think that he did have Yajirobe be nonchalant in the same way that Krillin is. I do think that he kind of catered Yajirobe's attitude to Krillin a little bit, but nothing too insane. He's definitely like his own original character, despite kind of coming off like Krillin sometimes. Because Krillin, he does like to make those crass remarks, especially like early on in his character arc.
Not just that, but also, yeah, and she plays him very similar. I haven't seen enough One Piece to. I haven't seen any One Piece. I've only heard her do the Luffy voice in like the Dragon Ball crossover and some promotional stuff. So I can't even comment on, you know, what her Luffy is, but people have said that, you know, it's the same or very similar. Now, if you remember in the anime for this part of the story, because of that extra fight with Tambourine and Yamcha and other stuff, it does go on much longer. I remember when we were watching it on Twitch, Goku, Tambourine's already about to fight Goku again, and it was many, many weeks of episodes before we got the rematch, dude. Many, many weeks. Like, it was not just a couple chapters. Here, it was like 2 weeks. So Tambourine returns. Chapter 141, Goku versus Tambourine. Now, remember, Goku ate the fish. So he, and when he ate the fish,
he got his energy back.
He got his energy back that he lost in the fight with Ten Shinhan. When Tambourine fought him, he was tired. Plus, Tambourine destroyed his cloud. So I mean that set him for a loop.
Yeah, Goku's
I love this Goku.
Nature is starting to come out, and that's the reason that his expression and everything is starting to change. He's starting to look less and less like the Goku that we've known this entire time, and more like a violent, angry, wrathful being. You know, very interesting.
I love Tambourine. I killed you. You think you could kill me just like that? That must be a joke. I'm going to wipe the floor with your face. And then Yajirobe, come on, go kill him already. I'm hungry. Which is funny because he just ate Symbol. He just got done eating Symbol and he's hungry again.
Yeah, he's a demon eater. That's funny.
It's and this is why, like, he stays with Karin, because if you remember, the Senzu beans, the sage beans, are supposed to get rid of your hunger. But this man's hunger is limitless. Like Saiyans have no limits, neither is his hunger. So I love this shot right here of, you know, Krillin with his eyes open, all fucked up, and Goku in the, you know, the Budo stance, ready to go at it. Classic lunge attack from Goku. Goku goes in, and this time he starts to do the Zanzoken around Tambourine. And this time it's Goku with his energy, delivers a beautiful elbow, coming in with a follow-up, a double punch, left hook. Goku's just
you can feel the ferocity in Goku's actions in this fight. Like, when Goku is like, don't get me wrong, he did tell Ten Shinhan that he was going to use his battle mode, and you can kind of feel it when he fights him, you know, seriously in the tournament, but you can really, really, really feel it here.
Yes, I would agree with that. And also, like we talked about before, the a big reason for like the speed is because Toriyama does not draw the backgrounds here. Instead, he uses the lines to illustrate the speed. I mean, he himself said he used to hate drawing backgrounds, so it's understandable. But it's also a thing where, from his perspective or from an artist's perspective, it's not easy. It is a skill to be able to create like a 3-dimensional environment in a 2D page. It's because you have to remember where you put the mountains at, the forest. Like, you have to remember that, which I think is why so many of Dragon Ball's battles take place in this large or huge mountain range, or in these like plains, because it's like, it's less details Toriyama would have to put in.
Yep.
Justin says Goku's win over Kermit the Fucker over here was yet another rare instance of Goku getting back at the opponent who beat him previously. Guess it really isn't easy being green. That is true. And Goku does do that quite a few times. But again, like we talked about classic storytelling, the bad guy has to win first. If Luke Skywalker did not get his ass kicked by Vader in Empire Strikes Back and lose his hand, then him defeating Vader in Return of the Jedi would not be so sweet. So
this guy says that Saiyan hunger fighting is their THC. That's hilarious. But remember, this is
especially for you.
But remember, this is prior to Goku being a Saiyan. Okay,
right.
Goku.
Context.
So like, when you think of like Goku's Saiyan nature and like Goku's thirst for battle, that's actually originally what Goku's demon nature was. Right? They just used the Saiyans to kind of replace that. So just remember that. When you see Goku acting Saiyan-like here, Toriyama had not even thought up of the concept of a Saiyan at this point. People just kind of misconstrue Goku's behavior here as Saiyan-like, because being Saiyan-like is just a stand-in for what Sun Wukong was like when he was a demon. It's literally just showing you like the evil aspects of the character that Goku was based on. That's pretty much it.
Right. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Hold on. What is? Oh, it's that. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Goku here with the big flying knee or flying kick. Dude, he kicks the shit out of freaking Tambourine with the big eyes, bro. Just like I love the big eyes. Also, Xavier said Symbol's fatter and Tambourine and Yajirobe still hungry. Yeah, bro, his hunger knows no bounds.
So, can I acknowledge this comment from Jared Roundtree?
Sure, and you can do that, of course.
So he says, I love this Goku, but the Frieza arc makes me feel like the lessons of this arc is lost for some minutes. So what do you think the lessons of this arc are? Because yes, this is essentially, so what happens on Namek is kind of a repeat of what happens here, but the lesson in both instances is exactly the same for a reason. And that is because Goku is a very volatile character when it comes to the effects of his emotions. And he's supposed to control himself through his emotions and not just kill Frieza or somebody else with malicious intentions. So his hesitation on Namek is not the result of him like going back on a lesson that he's learned before. It's the fact that Goku is having to wrestle with feeling malicious intentions against both King Piccolo and Frieza. So he has to hesitate in some sense until he's in a position where he can just wipe them out without any malicious intentions or feeling as though he's trying to like get some form of self-gratification or revenge out of the situation. When Goku becomes a Super Saiyan, he's at his peak temptation of just taking out Frieza because he wants to, because he feels like it. And that's what Goku's supposed to be fighting against. And the only reason that Goku can fight against it is because he was raised as a martial artist. So the lessons are the same, but they're not the same because Goku struggles to maintain that lesson. It's because it's a lesson that we have to conquer over and over and over and over again as a martial artist when we're put in situations where we could be tempted to kill somebody because we want to, because it makes us feel good, right? So the two situations are similar, but they're only similar because Goku is being put in a situation yet again where he could easily fall victim to his rage, right? Like that's it's not necessarily that he forgot his lesson. If anything, he's trying his hardest to balance not giving in to his need or his want to kill someone else while also maintaining the practices of martial arts. So there's no contradiction there. And that's something that I really like to hark on and hammer home, because a lot of the contradictions that the fans try to pretend that are there can be easily answered just by remembering that this series is meant to teach you a specific lesson when it comes to the context of martial arts. And Goku has to essentially make sure that he passes that test over and over and over and over again every time he's put in a situation where the stakes are super high and he feels tempted to give in to his need to kill someone, right? So it's just something that happens in the series over and over again for that reason.
because there's evil in the world always. Even
Right.
it could be demonic, could be from space. There's always going to be evil in this franchise, because if there isn't, what can you do? So Tambourine with the mouth blast. He thinks he got Goku. He didn't. Goku here, and so Tambourine leaves. He's scared. He is leaving the building, bro. And that's a Elvis thing. And then Goku's like, "Nah, motherfucker, fuck you. You ain't getting away from me this time." Extends the Nioibo, flies up. Like I'm literally picturing in my head the sound effect from the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember, he did that once, and then he whacked that pterodactyl at the very beginning of the manga. Goku uses this, and he powers up the Kamehameha on his way up, fires the Kamehameha, and see you later, Tambourine. Now, 2 of Piccolo's children are dead. Tambourine has been killed. Piccolo is very, very upset, and now he pulls a Thanos from Age of Ultron right here. Fine, I'll do it myself. Literally, bro, the mid-credit scene right there.
Yep.
So he wants to go confront the killer of his children, his own damn self. You understand what I'm saying? His own damn self. Chapter 142, Piccolo descends. Piccolo comes down from the heavens, or he's about to. Not literally the heavens. I mean like the sky.
Yeah.
And like it says here, he's pretty upset at what happened. So the other subplot here is that Tenshinhan and Roshi are now they're buddies after what happened in the last volume and in the previous few chapters. They are on the same side now, and the idea is to get the Dragon Balls. That's what they're trying to do. While Goku and Yajirobe are dealing with one thing, there's something else going on, which I love this about this era of Dragon Ball. We see this a lot in later arcs. There's multiple things going on at once. This B plot is Tenshinhan and Roshi trying to find the Dragon Balls, so that way they can bring people back to life who have been killed by these martial artists. So,
yeah, and it is an underrated section of the series, seeing Tenshinhan and Roshi work together. It's cool.
Yeah, right. And even Tenshinhan, this is where he first remarks about the Mafuba and how he wants to learn the Mafuba. So here we go here, and I'll punish the killer of the demons. This is priority. So Goku and Yajirobe still together, and the Dragon Radar goes off. So that's when, boom, we realize Piccolo has arrived. The thing about the manga is that this arc moves by really fast in the manga. Like, again, the anime slower. I like that pacing a tiny bit more, but man, this thing, it moves, bro. It moves. So moving on here, let's see. Goku wants to challenge himself, and Yajirobe, this is where we see him saying, okay, I'm not going to fuck with this guy. Take the Dragon Ball. Goku's like, you don't want to eat the King of the Demons? I'm not hungry. See, first he was, hurry up and eat him already. I'm hungry. Now it's like, nah, fuck that.
He's like, I'm good.
I'm out of here, bro. Xavier says, I think it would have been cool to see Goku, Tien Yamcha, Krillin versus King Piccolo, Drum, Tambourine, and Symbol. Yeah, bro, in War Games. It'd be a War Games match like what we're going to see in November, bro. I mean, if you think about it, in Dragon Ball Z, they almost were hinting at us seeing like Goku, Vegeta, Krillin, Gohan, and Nail against the 5 members of the Ginyu. They were kind of hinting at that a little tiny bit. Like, it's almost like we never got that 5-on-5, but it would have been cool, bro. I think that would have been cool. I like multi-people fights once in a while on this show. Not everything has to be one-on-one, you know.
Me too.
Yeah, it's different, but it works. So now Piccolo's like, they were beaten by this little rat. They didn't deserve the confidence I placed in them. So now he's let down by the fact that, you know, Goku they were killed by Goku.
Yep.
So here we see the size difference between Piccolo and Krillin. And of course, Piccolo is the boss. And here we have Goku's first fight with Piccolo, which is his first fight with the lead villain of this arc. Shut up, you asshole. That's the he wants to fight him. So chapter 143, Goku versus the Demon King. And again, another fun fight. Goku going after the Demon King. He connects first with a right hand to the face, kick, following through, going after him. Piccolo tries to stop himself, and he tries to grab Goku, misses, but he does connect with a strike. Goku goes for his. The Goku again with another attack. Piccolo is kind of getting rocked here, and I think they're trying to give us like a false sense of security here to make us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they want to make you feel as though Goku's got the situation handled.
Yeah, and he doesn't. So yeah, it is what it is, bro. Let's see here.
Yeah, and Goku fighting like a literal representation of demons is so cool and underrated. Like, it's just so awesome.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Let's see here. And look at the shit talk. I'm cruelty incarnate. Like fucking dude, I'm glad that we did this, bro. Like we remember we planned this series before Toriyama passed away, but it does work as an effective Toriyama tribute because we really do get to see like some of the great times, you know.
Yeah.
Xavier says, "Isn't King Piccolo supposed to be the devil?"
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of. He's a demon. I'm not gonna say he's the devil, but he's
demon. Like a representation of your demon nature as an individual, like pure evil, you know.
Yeah,
like
which is the devil. But yeah, in some ways, Dabura also looks at the devil. So you know, some of the depictions of the devil. All right, Piccolo here, and I like this manga panel right there. Punching the shit out of Goku. Goku goes down, bro. I
love Piccolo's outfit.
Oh, the classic, the blue Ma outfit.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
Do you like Piccolo's outfit more than the second Piccolo's outfit? Because the cape and the turban, I think, are so cool.
Yes, I actually do.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that it just looks more unique and cool. I do like Piccolo's later outfit, but there's just something you can kind of consider this like the royal version of Piccolo's outfit later. Like it really comes off like King Piccolo feels as though he's like the leader of the Demon Clan and something special when he's wearing this outfit. Whereas later on, when he's not wearing the Demon Clan, symbol on his chest, he comes off like he's been defeated a bit. You know what I mean? But design-wise, I do like Piccolo's outfit a lot. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I just think that thematically and everything, this outfit is kind of a treat in comparison because it's rare. You don't get to see it anymore in the series, and it really does kind of speak to Piccolo's character and his confidence, you know. So
yeah, I love it, bro. I like it too. The turban and the cape are cooler, but I still like it because it does work for this character. So at this point, bro, Goku, he's a wreck. And again, we talked about this earlier. In the anime, this fight is more brutal. Without question, it is because he really puts a whooping on Goku. And he's doing it here too. But Goku is completely out of his fucking element here. He's outmatched in every way, speed and power. Tries to go for, he thinks the Mafuba, but it's a Kamehameha, also a technique that was developed by Mutaito. Well, he knew it. Thinks he got him, of course, nothing. Chapter 144, Goku loses. Thanks for the spoiler, but we already knew it was going to happen. Here is Piccolo powering up. Now, the power-ups would become a regular thing in Dragon Ball as the series progresses. Here are some of the early iterations of powering up, which is basically elevating your ki, drawing out that inner energy to get ready to attack.
Yeah.
Fires a ki blast at Goku. Goku gets out of the way, fires another one. This one connects with Goku. Goku goes down, and this is This scene right here is very controversial. So Goku's down. Piccolo says his heart stopped. He's dead, and takes the Dragon Ball. Now, a lot of people seem to think that Goku died here. He did not die. Goku's heart stopped, but he did not die because in real life and in Dragon Ball, your heart can actually stop for a few minutes and you'll still be alive. If it stops for too long, then you die. But if it stops for a few minutes, you can be alive, and you can stay alive. So like I don't. Goku was not dead here. I don't. People have counted this as being one of Goku's deaths, but I don't know. He was alive.
I don't count it as that either.
I mean, he was alive. He didn't die. Like it's almost like people forgot that Goku did not die here. Like he was literally a few. We're going to get to a few panels down the road. You know. Yes, the Dragon Ball looks tiny in his hand.
King Piccolo is huge, dude.
Yeah, he's huge. He's huge. Yeah, so is the other Piccolo. I mean, they're known to be very tall.
Bardock's wish did not protect Goku. Get that bullshit out of this chat.
Oh God, yeah, I knew someone was gonna say that, bro.
Get that out of this chat right now.
You want me to get rid of it for real?
No, I'm just saying, don't say that because it's just not true. That's not what Bardock's wish was. Yeah,
no, it's not true. I still hated it. I know you liked it, but far too Sega for you says you remember in Winter Soldier when Nick Fury stopped his heart for a while. I actually don't remember that. I need to watch that movie again because I don't remember his heart stopping. All right, bro. If you're gonna start arguing with Jordan, dude, like, come on, man. Like, we're not doing that today, dude. We're not doing that today. You're just gonna get ignored.
I'll happily argue with him because I think.
But we covered it. We covered it like last week or 2 weeks ago, didn't we?
I know. But it's just like, look, guys. I don't know how many times I've explained that the high stakes in this series are to test Goku's virtue as an individual. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this series and why Goku survives over and over again, I don't know what to tell you. Goku is rewarded constantly for being a good person. That's the reason he survives all these situations. The only thing the wish did was put Goku in a situation where he could become that kind of person so he could benefit from being that kind of person, not magically, putting their hand in every situation where Goku could be in danger and magically saving him. That makes absolutely no sense. The Dragon Balls do not work that way. They've never worked that way. It's cause and effect. Goku does things that help him survive situations by doing other things. And this is a perfect example of this. Had Yajirobe not been there to slap Goku and bring him back, who knows what would have happened? In every single situation where Goku comes back to life or whatever, it's because of his actions. It's because of how he was raised. It was because of the decisions and the things that he's made in the past, rewarding him in the future. And that's a reoccurring theme in the series. There is no like over-encompassing wish that saves Goku from all these situations. That is completely just nonsense. Nowhere is it suggested. Nowhere is it stated. It's just not true. But anyway, we can move on.
Notice that, like I was saying earlier, Piccolo said Goku's heart stopped, and here his heart's beating, so he wasn't dead. His heart stopped. For a very short time, but he wasn't dead. Like we talked about, your heart has to stop a lot longer. So yeah, like that Jordan just said, Yajirobe smacked him around and brought him up. So Goku's not dead. But now Yajirobe realizes, like, okay, I got to save this guy. Like, and I guess now is when they really start becoming friends because he does do Goku a favor, bro. He gives him water and he says, you have a great vitality. You have a heart of a gorilla, you know. And that, again, that right there, you have a great vitality. He did not die, bro. Excuse me. So Goku is asking Yajirobe to take him to Karin Tower because Karin's a sage and Karin can help Goku and bring him back up to spirits again. So of course this would lead to Yajirobe and Karin being like bosom buddies for like the remainder of the franchise almost. It felt.
Right.
He stayed up there, bro. He never left. And then here we have more of that subplot of Tenshin Han and Roshi looking for Dragon Balls. Chaozu's there. They got 5 of them, so the Dragon Ball collecting continues. Chapter 145, the Muten Roshi's decision. This is things get really dramatic here. I love this art. You know, I love these pages, man. Roshi being the centerpiece character. We have all the other characters in the background panel with Roshi being in the front. These art pieces that Toriyama draws, dude, are so freaking cool. Like, they are so cool because I think they're very badass. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I just love them. Like, the manga's full.
His promotional art is always amazing because he doesn't have to worry about the paneling and the storytelling. It's always really good.
Xavier said, what's your favorite Goku's gi / look between these? 23rd Tournament Raditz fight, Saiyan Saga Vegeta fight, Frieza Saga, or Whiski?
23rd.
I like that one a lot, too. He wore something similar in the Raditz fight as well. I do like that one a lot, too. The one that he wears in the Vegeta and Frieza sagas, where he still has the blue underneath, that one kind of became like his look.
That's his staple. Yeah, that became his staple. His staple gi. I just prefer the way it looks, and especially in the anime, I just prefer the 23rd. I just like the way it looks. I just think it's awesome.
And I think in the 23rd, didn't he have on like a black? It was like black underneath.
Yeah.
It was a darker blue. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So okay, now Piccolo has 2 Dragon Balls. Roshi and Tenshin Han have 5. So we've accounted all of the Dragon Balls. Characters now have them. They are no longer mysterious. That's the way it is. Now, the idea is to find Piccolo and just steal the Dragon Balls. They're not trying to fight him. He's too dangerous. They just want to take the Dragon Balls. Now, again, here we have more of Yajirobe trying to save Goku, to get him to Karin Tower. And Piccolo's excited because he's about to get there. So what happens here is Roshi hides the 5 Dragon Balls in this plot of dirt to make sure that Piccolo can't find them, even though with Dragon radars, it should not mask it being underground like that.
Right.
And so the plan here is that while Tenshin Han and Piccolo, Tenshin Han and Roshi are going to try to steal the Dragon Balls from Piccolo while he's looking for there. So he's hiding it there. Excuse me. Mecha J said, I like his end of Z gi. I do too. The blue gi, like I do like that gi a lot. And then the idea is have Chaozu summon the dragon. Now, what we find out is that Roshi has his own plans, and we're going to get to that here in just a moment. So they're sitting there hiding behind the rock. Here comes Piccolo trying to find those last 2 balls. Here he does it himself. And then he's like, damn, they're going to keep the 2 balls in the ship, and we have to go up there. Great. Now it's going to be even more of a problem. But Piccolo's not keep them on me. And then he even says it. He knows they want to steal my Dragon Balls. Like, Piccolo is a very smart guy. So what does he do?
One of the most intelligent villains thus far.
He eats them, bro. Just like how Goku did in GT, bro.
Yep.
He eats them. J Ram said, hey, Geekdom, this is Justin. How are you, bro? Well, there's a lot of Justins I know. In fact, there's one in the chat right now. But I am doing well, and I hope you are as well. You may have to clarify which Justin you are, because I know a lot of Justins. I'm being serious. I actually do know a few. So you have to clarify which Justin. Anyways, so the Dragon Ball is there. And now it's like, well, we're going to have to... We can't get the Dragon Balls without killing him. And then Roshi tells Tenshin Han, I drank from the fountain of youth, I won't die. But that's a lie. He lies to him.
Yeah.
He lies to him because he sprays him in the face with that mace or whatever that is. And Tenshin Han is knocked out. And Roshi pretty much is trying to protect Tenshin Han by saying, look,
because he knows that Tenshin Han would willingly destroy himself, and he doesn't want him to do that. He thinks that Tenshin Han Due to the fact that Tenshinhan has surpassed him as a martial artist, he sees him as an asset to the world, and he doesn't want him sacrificing himself like that.
And he's also a lot younger than Roshi,
Right.
so Roshi sees it as, okay, this guy's the future, I'm the past. He needs to survive.
Right.
All right. So, excuse me. I got a cough that I have to get out, bro, but I'll do it after the stream. All right. So at this point, Roshi straight up calls out Piccolo. Like, let's fucking go. I'm actually a big fan of Roshi's look here with the Jackie Chun gi, but not the Jackie Chun wig. I like that look a lot.
Yeah, the old master gi. There's a lot of Ryu and Ken's master had a gi like that, and some of the anime material. The Terry Bogard and his master had a gi like that. It's like the stereotypical like kung fu master gi in anime. I love it.
There is there's a name for that gi, and I know that I was told it many years ago, and I don't remember what it was. I know this.
You ever played the older Street Fighter games like the Alpha series and stuff like that?
Oh, Justin Ramirez. Of course I have, bro. I've said before, Street Fighter Alpha 3 on PS1 is my favorite Street Fighter game.
So do you remember Gen?
Yes.
He's like an old man with the beard. He's got that gi too.
Yes. It's a thing they wear over there. I just don't remember the name. Yeah, Justin Ramirez. Welcome, bro. Welcome. Now I know who you are. And you specified it. Now I know who you are. Because Justin Sullivan is in the chat too. And there's a few other Justins that I know. But so Roshi tells him, he says, if you want them, you have to go over my dead body. Why would you tell Piccolo? I mean, okay, he's going to find them anyways, but he's very confident. He's very confident that he's going to Mafuba his ass, bro.
Right.
Chapter 146, the Mafuba. So we're almost done, by the way, with these with volume 12. So Roshi and Piccolo. Roshi reveals to Piccolo that Mutaito's his master, and out comes the Denshi jar. So Piccolo is terrified.
Now he's freaking out. Yeah.
Now he knows that he might actually be fucked. Tenshinhan's awake now, but he can't move, and because he got hit with the paralysis spray, he realizes what the Mafuba is. Now, I do want to clarify a very big misconception. Well, Justin, thank you for your generosity. Like, it's he says Master Roshi's death here is very reminiscent of Obi-Wan's sacrifice in A New Hope or Qui-Gon in The Phantom Menace. I could see that. I mean, it's the older master sacrificing himself to save the young students. Yeah, it's a trope, but it's one that's, I think, effective if we get attached to the character.
Yeah, me too.
So I love the how he starts to sweat. In the anime version is so yes, El Kukui. We have archives of all of these streams on the Geek Them 101 channel. Just go to the manga, just go to the playlist, the Mangalorian. We've done 12. This is the 12th one. 13 is next, which is going to be the continuing this arc. But what I was going to say was in the anime, when Piccolo finds out, it's one of the funniest scenes ever. When he finds out that Roshi knows the technique, they draw like a million sweat beads coming down his face, like it's dripping down like a waterfall.
Yeah, I remember. They exaggerate.
Nani! And it's like, dude, it's so fucking funny, dude. Like, yeah, and then there you go, Mafuba. Now, what I wanted to talk about is the misconception here. There is a misconception that people seem to believe that the Mafuba automatically kills you.
No.
That is not the case. If the Mafuba is practiced and you don't have your mind, body, and spirit in sync, and your body can't handle it, yes, you will die. But it doesn't guarantee that you will die.
Right.
Gregory says, has Geekdom ever power scaled Roshi? Well, when you say power scaled blank, you have to also remember it depends on what time in the series we're talking about. But
Yeah.
yes, we've basically power scaled Roshi every single chapter almost, right? We've talked about how strong he was and how strong people were when they passed him. So we've kind of done that.
Yeah, maybe not for Super, but definitely so far here we've scaled them the best we could for sure.
In Super, it also gets very convoluted because in the manga, he has like a version of UI or whatever, like his version of it. So it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
So here comes the Mafuba. He's got him trapped. He's about to put him in, but no, he missed. Just imagine this is almost like what happened a month ago with a certain politician. This close, but no cigar, bro. He missed. And he's over here like, I failed. Like, yeah, well, that sometimes you just don't hit the target. And here is where Roshi, because he's old, he's done for. He put everything into that Mafuba, and he's dead. I do like that in the dub. I'll give the dub credit. I do like how Roshi says, "We will survive." You know, I do like that speech a little bit. I'm not I still am always going to prefer the original script, but it's at least in the same tone.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So now Piccolo is so happy because he's dead, and he assumes wrongly, well, not wrongly, he's kind of right, but he now believes that nobody else knows the Mafuba,
So
and
he's dead.
happy. He's happy, bro. He's very, very happy. And he's like, I'm surprised someone still do the Mafuba, but he's dead. I'm not afraid of anything now. Wahahaha. He gets the Dragon Balls. Now he has all 7 of them. Now, and there it is. There's him making that face. Haha, I won. The thing about this is the first time in the series that a villain has actually been able to make a wish on the Dragon Balls. First time that a villain. And so this had to happen at some point. It had to happen at some point because Toriyama is trying to illustrate the other side of the Dragon Balls, which is
the danger that comes with a villain using them, essentially. Yeah. But something that a lot of people look over is the fact that you can use the Dragon Balls to wish for as much power as you want. But at the end of the day, selfish wishes always backfire in the series every single time, which is why Goku's attitude is so important and why he is successful throughout the entire series and not a wish. It's Goku's attitude, okay? Goku was raised with a successful attitude. He's not successful because some Saiyan character that Toriyama didn't even come up with during this era made a wish 20 years later and retroactively made it to where Goku's incapable of dying or making any mistakes. That's not what it is. Goku is meant to be a parallel to Piccolo in that despite the fact that he does not do anything to selfishly put put destiny in his favor like Piccolo, due to his attitude and how he practices things, he still comes out on top, and Piccolo ultimately pays the price. And that's like the narrative of the entire series, you know.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that, and this is for those who have been here from the very beginning, on this stream, you're the one yelling at people and I'm the calm one?
Listen, man. I get tired of misinformation amongst the Dragon Ball community just as much as
you. You are the one yelling and I'm the calm one?
Yep. We've come full circle, bro. My demon nature's coming out.
So are you saying this is your face? This is your face right here, bro. Well, maybe
right now,
I can't believe that you're that you are the one yelling, but we're actually done with this volume because it is to be continued.
What a way to end off the volume, bro.
Yep. So volume 13 will be the next stream that we do, and it's going to be more of this arc. I think it ends in volume 14, but I could be wrong. it could be next chapter or next volume. I mean, because these volumes are packed with many chapters. Remember, we're reading the full color tankobon volumes, and each one has what, like, how many chapters each one has? Like, I guess each one has like 10
They
to
vary, but around that, yeah.
10 to 15, yeah, something like that. So we'll probably continue next week. I mean, we'll hopefully, unless something happens, we should be back next week. But I will be back this week on the channel to give away or to discuss that Daima information. So Jordan, what's going on your neck of the woods for the people who are watching this live, not the replayers from years down the road? So maybe someone's watching this in like 2028 or something, but what do you got going on?
Man, I've just been playing music like crazy. I told you, like, prior to the stream.
Yes, you did.
Prior to the stream, I'm in 2 bands. I've been getting a whole lot of gigs. I'm also the stage manager for the Grand Theater in my local area. So I've been doing a lot of stuff, in the local entertainment business. It's been very lucrative. I've been making pretty decent money doing it. But I am excited to get back into making Dragon Ball content more after Daima comes in, because I'll certainly have a lot more to talk about. So there will be more content coming to the channel. It's just right now, I'm having a blast playing music. I'm the lead guitarist of a band, and that's so much fun. So that's mainly what I've been focusing on, is just making money playing music lately. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes. But what I was more trying to plug your channel, bro. Like, well, what can people look forward to?
Oh, well, I'm going to be, of course, breaking down Daima. And because Daima is like demon themed, and, it's probably going to have a lot of Journey to the West based themes and stuff like that. Of course, I'll be breaking down all that stuff on my channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say. I'm really looking forward to Daima as a sequel to the Buu Saga, as you kind of pointed out.
Yes.
I think that, to me, just has me way more excited for the series, because I love the Buu Saga and I love its lore. So the fact that this is like kind of expanding on the Buu Saga's lore has me like even more excited, because I get to talk about the Buu Saga as well. So essentially, like, upcoming on my channel is just, I'm going to be breaking down and talking about everything surrounding Daima's lore, the Buu Saga's lore, Journey to the West, and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, it's going to be a great time for sure. I'm like I told you earlier, man. I have some anxiety because I'm there's a lot of shit going on, and I gotta get refocused, and so I'm trying to get as much work done as I can before Daima starts, so that way it's a bit of a smoother ride. Right. It is what it is. But anyways, man. So I had fun as always this week. Thank you guys in the chat as always.
Next week's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna get more violent, and we're far from done here. And then we have the 23rd tournament, so which we're watching right now on Twitch on Saturday afternoons, and I am coming back this Saturday at 1 as we continue that. So, any final thoughts, bro?
Nope. Just stay tuned in. Thank you guys so much for participating, and I'll see you guys in the next stream with Danny.
Yes, indeed. And check out Jordan's channel. Link is in the description. Take care. Have a good one. And we'll see you next time.